What's up, everyone? Andre here, along with Tris and Jake, to talk about the surprise announcement of there being a Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Direct in 2 days. So obviously, everyone's been expecting a September Direct. That isn't a surprise. What is a surprise is that we're getting, in addition to that, seemingly, a Mario Direct in just a couple of days. Obviously, as one of the games, given the potential of this game possibly being my game of the year, based on what we've seen already, I can't wait to talk more about this. Tris, Jake, I think that's the same for you both as well.
I'm very, very excited about this game, and getting a focused direct on this game isn't surprising at all. I mean, we got that for like Splatoon 3 last year, like right around the same time too, I think. So it makes sense. It's exciting. It's like the next big title Nintendo's putting out for the next few months. So very, very excited to see what could be here.
Yeah, Hundo P. I mean, this is interesting. That Game of the Year comment kind of caught me off guard. But so now that's in my head. But
the
this is
first
actually a game...
new-looking 2D Mario in 20 years, Jake.
No, I know.
This
This is like the honest to God, the first time in my conscious gamer life that I am getting like a 2D Mario that feels like a genuine new article. Yeah. So I don't even know how to feel about this, to be honest. I'm like curious about going into a 2D Mario game on day one and seeing what that feeling is like, because I really don't know. But I gotta be honest, I'm kind of putting this game in a bucket, the same kind of bucket that I put, this is such a weird comparison, but Spider-Man 2 in, where I go, I know what this game is. This is going to be high quality. I'm going to like this game. I don't know if I need to see, or if there's even anything to know that's like that's like gonna really put that titillation meter up. So I'm curious about this. I think 15 minutes is a good amount of time. I think it's a nice little short and sweet segment. I'm anticipating, we can talk about this later, but I'm anticipating some of this to be a special edition Switch as well. So that kind of getting shown off.
There hasn't been a Mario one yet, so yeah.
Right. So for some from some Mario people like I have here, I'm kind of curious about what you're like hoping to see, what you want to see, what could happen in this presentation that would really like perk you up and make you go, oh man, Nintendo, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, Tris?
Oh man, I mean, I'm kind of with you already, Jake, on the idea of, just like with Marvel Spider-Man 2, I've seen enough of this game already to be sold on it and be excited for it. I don't need to see more of it, is the thing. Like, I already know it's going to be a great time, and I almost want to be surprised on everything about it. That's why whenever Spider-Man 2 comes up, I check out, because we don't have to cover that one for work. But with this specifically, though, I think it's exciting to see what they're going to choose to show off in that 15 minutes. Because they already got the hook. They already got the initial hook. They teased Elephant Mario. They showed off the brand new art style and how lively it looks. So you kind of, you already get the general pretense of, okay, new 2D Mario, not with the word new, and it actually looks great. What do we see from there? Do we see like power-ups? Do we see like new bosses, character abilities, things like that?
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing about this, but I feel like we already basically know what the game is. Maybe I'm wrong, but you see, I mean, it's a 2D Mario that is, albeit very different compared to what we've been seeing from the new line in decades. So that inherently is exciting, but yeah, how much more can there really be that we haven't seen? Like, they can really, at this point, just plug in some of the little unknowns, like more power-ups, more enemies, more bosses. It is possible there's some big feature that they haven't revealed yet. They teased, of course, the Elephant Mario, which they haven't even fully shown what exactly he does or how the power-up works with the other characters as well, whether they have their own animal variants. So that's exciting, but at the same time too, like for me, I often consider like all that stuff, like those are like the spoilers that I don't want to know about for Mario, right? I like those surprises. I remember actively avoiding everything from Mario Galaxy leading up to its release, or maybe Mario Galaxy 2, no, the first one, because I didn't want to know like what those final surprises are, especially in a game called Wonder, where that seems to be part of the inherent value, the fact that they are riding on this being different and unique. So I almost don't want to see 15 more minutes of this game, because it's going to show off a lot of those fun early surprises, and I want that to be a surprise. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We're going to be watching it here. I'm going to have a good time watching it, but I'm going to be, at the same time, like, I'm depriving myself of a later surprise. But in any case, I can't see. Yeah, it's hard to envision them like showing too much groundbreaking here. Like a new Nintendo Switch seems like a pretty good idea, especially because that would fill a few minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, there hasn't been a Mario OLED yet. There's been Splatoon, there's been Pokemon, there's been Zelda. There surprisingly has not been a Mario one.
Right.
And you know, you can imagine they can do like really pretty Joy-Cons with like the Wonder kind of if they look like Wonder and they have like that nice gradient to them, that might be really nice.
Oh, I don't know if they'll do it.
Yeah, I know that's a sad thing. I would love to see that, but
I feel like they phone in these Joy-Con, and also they kind of just like stealth revealed some pastel Joy-Con kind of recently.
Yeah,
that are
they did.
pretty Yeah, they're like pretty similar to those colors. But yeah, again, it just makes sense. It's like around the same time they revealed the Splatoon OLED a while back, and you got to have something on the store shelves in the fall, and it's not going to be the Zelda one. You know what I mean?
yeah, and this lets them really push Mario with it too.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of along those lines. I don't think this is going to be 15 minutes of pure Mario Wonder. I mean, it's going to be about that game, but I don't think they're going to show off like 15 straight minutes of gameplay. Because I think there's a good chance we have that switch. This might also be where we have the Charles Martinet and Shigeru Miyamoto video that they had teased. I think it might make a lot of sense for it here. If not the September Direct, but I think here makes the most sense because they're retiring him as the voice actor and bringing in the new one. And I'm curious to see what that's like. It's probably just gonna be a quick little message, but are they gonna talk at all about the new voice, maybe the direction for why they decided to make this choice?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, and I think like opening this with like the message from Miyamoto and Charles Martinet might be how they do it instead of saving it for much later on. Kind of opening with it, and maybe even having Martinet be the one to introduce who the new voice of Mario is.
I don't think we will hear about the voices in this at all.
You don't think we hear about the voices at all?
No, it's Nintendo would never. I think it's gonna be like in a weird tweet later, and we're gonna go, why wasn't this in the Direct? I just think this is too like product focused, and they're trying to like sell a product, and I don't necessarily think that like it just like fits in what they do in these. But that's just where my head's at, because I feel like the purpose of this presentation is to identify what Nintendo thinks is interesting and like the selling point of Super Mario Brothers Wonder for like most people, for like the casual audience. Because to us, to like people on the inside, we see the new art style, we see all this stuff going on, and it's like, oh my god, this is I get this. But I don't know if like your typical like normie out there is looking at Super Mario Brothers Wonder and going, this is so different for a Mario game. So I recently did a preview about Sonic Superstars, and it's funny kind of like playing that game and being like, oh my god, I feel like these features are in here so they can be points on the back of a box. It's like, oh, the Chaos Emerald powers, the co-op multiplayer, I was like, whoa, I'm like seeing the back of the box right now. And I'm kind of curious, like, what is it for Wonder that they're like, this is the thing we're selling? And I kind of think it's the characters. I kind of think that's the direction we're going. And I could see this presentation being broken down into like little like, hey, here's this character, here's this character, here's this character, and how it's like different. You can play the whole game as any of them, and maybe even revealing a new one.
Oh, I would love that. I mean, there's precedence for that. Before Super Mario 3D World released, they did reveal the 5th secret unlockable character as Rosalina. I don't know why you would reveal the post-game reward before release, but they did it.
There's marketing.
Yeah, it is marketing. So they could definitely do something like that here. I mean, we're less than 2 months out to the game, so it's not that unheard of. But otherwise, I do think you're right that we're going to see that breakdown of it. We're going to see characters. Like, we'll get, like, some narrator. It'll feel like kind of a long overview trailer, I think. Like, we'll get some narrator going down. You have the little tabs like, Mario, check out his jumps. Luigi, he can jump higher. Toad, he can run faster.
Are we
You'll
actually
get that
expecting
each character.
unique traits for each character? Because that goes against most of the 2D line. Not the 3D ones, though.
Analysis insight incoming.
Yeah. We do have Yoshi with his flutter jump and ability.
That's true, Yoshi,
which makes it seem like at the very least Yoshi has his abilities, which means Yoshi will probably get a special dedicated spot in here if that's the case. But all of these characters were in Super Mario Run on mobile like eons ago, and they all have unique abilities in that game. So that could have been like a testing ground for getting their abilities to work in a 2D setting.
The reason why I think that outside possibly Yoshi, given he's already a unique character because he can ride him as well, which is strange. Is that every character also has like a hat, right, for flying, we've seen, for gliding.
Yeah.
And I feel like had they actually wanted to make the characters more distinct play when it came to playability sense, that they wouldn't all have a hat, that they have something else or do something different. But I don't know, we'll see. Hey, they play different. I'm cool with
the hat is a story. The hat is a contrivance. The hat is for somebody in this story is gonna be like, I'm the big hat man.
Oh my god!
You know what I mean? It's gonna be like a whole thing. It's gotta be big hats for everybody.
Well,
like Yoshi pulling out a big hat. That's a 10 out of 10. That's,
Yeah.
We haven't seen Yoshi's hat yet, right? That's
No,
still,
no.
I want to see, what is Yoshi's hat? Is it like an egg?
I hope
type
it's
thing?
his like saddle actually.
Oh, that's actually good.
Well,
yeah.
we've seen
Yeah.
Peach's is literally like Mario's hat, but it's
Right,
pink and it has her
exactly.
emblem on it. So I imagine Yoshi's might be similar, where
But-
it's like whatever color Yoshi, and then has
Yeah.
like the egg emblem.
Egg emblem, yeah, that would make sense. So, or I want to say, I don't know, I want to say Yoshi hat with a Y, like just Yoshi Y.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So
yeah.
coming back to the voice actor question really quick, I've got this like vision planted in my head now of them just going full chaos mode and being like, here's like 10 minutes of people trying out for Mario. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Like you
gosh.
see like an audition room, like I walk in
Okay, no.
and I'm like, oh, yo, I'm Wario. You know?
100% not happening.
That sounds like something they would put on social media, much like
I
their
know.
older like
That's
E3
hilarious.
hype up videos, like the giant like the
Maybe
Reggie robot.
I should make
kind of
that
thing.
video.
You should. Oh my god. Yes, you should. Please do.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
man.
to circle back to that real quick,
Yeah.
if they even bring up the Martinet thing here, which I think there's a good chance, though I saw chat suggest they could just throw it on Twitter, which is also just as likely, I think. Because as Jake said, they want to keep the focus really on what this game is and not what it isn't.
Right.
But yeah, even if they do, I don't think we find out anything more about the new voice actor, because Nintendo specifically told us in their statement that please play the game and watch the credits to find out who it is. Nintendo,
Right.
yeah, Nintendo does not
Okay,
want to talk
yeah.
about that beforehand.
Yeah.
In any case, the new voice actor they have already, based on what we've seen, sounds very similar. Although it does make me wonder if maybe that is one of the newer things here. Maybe we already know there is more talking in the game because they have those weird interactive flowers now. So is there another angle here for Mario and the rest of the cast that we haven't seen yet that would warrant changing voice actors at this point?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you open this presentation up with a big old cutscene, everybody's talking. I mean,
Oh, that'd be fun, yeah.
like that would be crazy. That would,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that would get that would be a very tweetable thing. That would like kill on social media. So you'd be trending all day if you start this thing up and there's a cutscene and you hear like Mario, Peach, Bowser, you hear all these people like talking. And I think it would be representative of a philosophy or mindset that works kind of like in tandem with like the Super Mario Brothers movie and just kind of like their vision for these characters. So I think that'd be really cool and bold. I think I'm a coward. I think it's a little too bold for Nintendo, but I would like to see it. Yeah.
It is really bold. That's exactly what I was thinking too, because it's definitely something that feels like it would take the internet by storm. That would also be a great way to just kind of show this is the new era of Mario we're ushering in with this game. Like right out the gate, and I almost feel like they would rather ease into that rather than blow the doors open with it.
I think they already have to an extent. That's what the Mario movie was. Like that represented the new era of Mario, I think, where we have a whole fully talking character. It didn't seem weird. They made it work just fine. And I mean, obviously the games are still their own thing, but I think they've already done the legwork to help break that in. Where it may not seem that weird, but yeah, hey, if they have a whole full on talking cutscene, I'm there for it. I want to see that. So,
but to what Jake, to what you were mentioning earlier about like kind of like how this will play out and have a big focus on the characters. I do think, like aside from specifically the character section, like we already kind of discussed breaking down, I think another big portion of it is going to be the power-ups and abilities, including like a big focus on the Wonder Flower. And we're going to see like a slightly more of a breakdown as to like what kind of effects you can expect from it and how it differs in each level. Like we might see them go into the ones in the first trailer. They might talk about like, oh, like you could get these things happening, this thing happening, the giant rolling ball happening. Here's a couple other little things you could see happening from it. Just to kind of really push the weird factor from it. And that might be like what closes out like a whole dedicated power-up section kind of thing.
Is there anything Tris, I think you're probably 100% on it. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I'm just curious from both of you if there is anything outside of what we consider the box of Mario possibilities. That's like, because I think we all understand, like Wonder Flower, it's going to mess with the level, it's going to, change things up in a particular way. These power-ups, they're going to transform your character in a way that like we're not unfamiliar with. Like we can understand how it's going to work in the gameplay environment of Mario. Is there anything that they could put into this game that like thinking about pooling like maybe inspiration for other games, like other platformers that you've enjoyed, or just like gaming in general that you think might be like, okay, we are doing a presentation because we've got this big feature, this big mode, this big idea. Is there anything like that here, or do we kind of already know the building blocks of this game?
I would love if this was how they revealed some sort of special like online multiplayer mode that's separate from like the main story and co-op. That isn't
separate
just
mode.
Yeah, something special that isn't just like, oh, time trial race to the finish against a friend. Like something special like that, that really makes use of a cast of characters and the different abilities and completely different kinds of levels, I think could be really interesting and really push the why they're still doing multiplayer for these, aside from precedents.
Yes. Tris, I love this idea, okay? First, I want to give a shout out to somebody in the chat, because Mezak Boy said, y'all have the best thumbnails in the game. They're always so inviting to click on. Shout out to Tom out there.
That's right.
Doing the Lord's work, dude. Tom killing it. Tom teaching me Photoshop on a weekly basis. It's
Thanks,
awesome.
that's good play. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I appreciate, love Tom's work. But yes, Tris, because I am so about this, because I feel like everybody always talks about, oh man, it's a modern game, they have to have online co-op, and to be completely honest with you both, I like am not out here begging for this game to have online co-op. I just don't think like in my life it like makes a ton of sense for a system without voice chat to have this kind of game, like playing it with people online. Like I just feel disconnected from them in a way. I don't know. It's the levels being like as long as they are. It doesn't. Something about it doesn't feel right to me, but if there's a mode that's like, okay, we're doing something here that's not just going through the levels that you could be playing on your own, and it is like an actual multiplayer mode with a different purpose. I know Sonic Superstars just revealed their battle mode, which I think looks pretty cool. But yeah, something like that I feel like would be awesome. I would be so about that. Yeah.
Jake, you said something doesn't feel right about that. It's the fact that Nintendo's online for the platformers is typically garbage and it feels terrible. Yeah. We saw this in Mario Maker 2. Yeah.
It's wild that like in just a span of a couple years we had Mario Maker 2, which to be completely honest, while it's a fun game, it's online 4-player co-op is not good. And then you had Super Mario 3D World, which the Super Mario 3D World port, the online for that is like shockingly good.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah. I would love some kind of like multiplayer feature that isn't necessarily co-op online, just because, I mean, for one, again, Nintendo's online when it comes to this is usually not great, their history for that, but also I'm not the biggest fan of playing Mario games that co-op anyway. I just prefer playing platformers at my own pace. I feel like once you throw a second or more characters in there, it just kind of throws off the pace of everything. So like, a lot of this, like, it looks fun in motion, but I'm like, I don't really care about playing, with other people in this particular instance. That being said, if they have an actual, like, dedicated multiplayer mode, that would be cool. Like, some of my favorite multiplayer Mario games are, like, those weird spin-offs. Mario 64 DS had that Star Thief Shine mode thing. That was fun. New Super Mario Brothers had a great similar mode, actually, in 2D. Mario's had some, even, like, going back to All-Stars with the, Mario Brothers arcade game brought into it, or on the GBA too, as on NSO. Like, I love those. Those are all fun. Give us more of that. So, and I think too, there's potentially a unique angle there with the whole like Wonder Flower. Like, I wonder if they could incorporate that into a mechanic in the game, just because of how that thing works. And that's something actually that I think they can flesh out here, is why. Why would, like, because it seems, Tris, correct me if I'm wrong, you did the analysis, like, it seems like it's often optional. Like, you don't need to grab it, do you? Like, there's no wall preventing you from continuing on, right?
There's a couple instances where it definitely seems like your main reason to grab it is to be able to get like a power up that only spawn, or the special coins or the wonder seeds that only spawn during it. But then there's levels where it feels like it's like a really like tight path, and in order to advance, you have to pass through it. So they force you into it to affect the level. Like in that one, it's like when they're falling down from the ceiling, and it makes the level slant, so a giant spike ball chases them.
Got it, right. So yeah, that speaks to my point is that they're gonna with those wonder seeds, like that seems to be a big incentive for going into these weird versions of the world, and we don't know what they do, right? Like, do they unlock levels? Do they unlock worlds? Do they unlock other things in the game? Do they, I don't know, can you plant them and do something with them? Is that how you reach new areas? Like maybe giant beanstalks grow out of the ground? Like, this is a flower kingdom, so I think the fact that you're collecting seeds suggests you're doing something with them.
I mean, we don't even know what the purple coins are for. We have a whole separate currency in this game that has a strange amount of focus because it changes to collecting them in like tenths or like in decimals. When they're a wonder flower, and we don't know what they're used for.
And that's on top of the normal coins we already have, which it's tracking as well, which it could just be for lives, but maybe and the fact that there's two currencies that all suggest that you're using at least one of them to spend on things. Which what are you buying? What are you buying, stranger? Yeah.
I'm more curious about the caterpillar guy. I want to know his deal. He's on like Luigi's back on the cover art. Yeah, I love that guy. I think he looks fun.
What's the story in this game?
Like, will I have a caterpillar man on my back as I'm playing this game? Like, just like vibing, talking to me? Will he be, you know what I mean? Voice acting? Like, I don't know.
Like we see him come out at the end of like, when like Mario gets a flagpole, which is literally on screen like a second ago.
Good timing.
You see him come out for a little celebration. And there's like a quick scene that you get where he's like on Mario's head, but then when Mario goes to jump, he goes away. So I imagine he'll kind of pop out for idle animations, and maybe he'll talk at times like the little flowers do. But I don't know if, like, in gameplay specifically, he'll do much more. Although I think it would be really nice if he is, like, kind of an active reminder of the story and, like, kind of giving you things as you go.
You know what's interesting? Nintendo is very much a gameplay-first company, right? Like, they don't add something unless there's a reason for it in a gameplay sense. And that makes me think there actually is more to that guy than we know, beyond just story reasons. Like, he's gotta be there for a reason, whether it's a mechanic or like interacting with something in the level. Like, I don't know, maybe he's the one that plants seeds. I have no idea, but he's definitely going to be doing something. He's not just there for cute animations. Like, look at Mario Galaxy and the little Luma that follows you. Like, he's the reason you can do the twirl in the air, and he pops out every time you do that. So I think they've been hiding what his true purpose is, and even beyond that, like, why does he exist? Period. Like,
what if?
I know, Jake, you had the whole awesome short, I think, that linked back to the Mario anime, where something similar happened there with the dog, and he was a prince, and like, maybe that's something that, maybe
I still kind of think that that's real.
Yeah.
I am actually like a truther for that. I think it just looks right to me. I don't know.
You take that story, you adapt it to like now into like a new take on it. So you change some details. That's actually what I was thinking too. I definitely think, I mean, he's got like the prince look to him. He's got a crown. He's got like a little cape. I definitely think he's someone important, and it would make sense if he's accompanying you. If it's his kingdom you're going to save, kind of like rescuing the little fairy Sprixie princesses in 3D World, or in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, you have Prince Dreambert going around with you. You can kind of get that sort of thing here. But I was thinking, what if his whole thing is obviously he's transformed into that, just like in the movie. He's got to be turned back to normal. What if he's your unlockable character when you restore him to normal? Completely brand new character that then introduces a brand new ability, brand new character to Mario, and he starts off.
This is a good idea. This is a good idea, Tris. I think this is it. I do. I think that's it.
I can totally see that. The only thing is in that that would suggest he doesn't have a central mechanic to the game, unless you just have a backup caterpillar or a replacement for him. But yeah, that I don't know, I could totally see that happening. Actually, he might be your secret character, which makes me wonder, like, what is going on in this world? Like, we're in the Flower Kingdom, which is something that we associate often with Daisy specifically. Is she, and with her being an actual like playable character here for the first time in a major 2D Mario game outside of Mario Run, which I don't know if people actually count that or not, even though I love that game. Does she matter here? Like, is she a part of the story? Is this her kingdom? Maybe are they like retconning some things?
I don't think they're retconning Sarasaland, but I imagine Flowers, she has some level of stake in it. she wants it to thrive. Maybe, I don't know.
I think she's just one of the gang. I don't know. I feel like maybe Nintendo is just like relenting finally to the Daisy fandom and is like, fine. Yeah,
I mean,
look.
I mean, Yeah, like it feels like they've wanted to kind of include her in the main group for a while because even outside of Super Mario Brothers One, Super Mario Run, excuse me, she's at Super Nintendo World. Like the main cast of characters you can get for like the bands and for the teams that represent it,
Really?
the theme parks. It's Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, and Daisy.
Mm.
Those are the only characters you can get the bands for. Those are the only characters represented with the teams. And I think
Is she
they've been
there?
working on
Is
this
she
a
there
while.
as like a creature? Is she
Sadly,
there as
no.
like a...
Sadly, no.
Okay.
Man, Daisy fans owe a lot to Camelot. Without Camelot bringing her back in Mario Tennis 64, no one would care about Daisy these days. So Camelot, we owe them thanks. Flickasaur had an awesome comment a little while ago saying the talking flower is the true final boss. I want like some kind of like plot twist like that, like Undertale style. Like turns out every enemy you've killed is actually horrible for you in the world, and it's gonna bite you in the butt later.
Well, I think we could see something like I feel like Kirby games do this sometimes where so we've seen like Bowser Jr. has like this weird like little mask on him, and I think it's like not too big of a jump to be like, oh, something is like controlling people. So I could see either like our little caterpillar buddy or the flower at some point getting taken control of by a villain and turned into like a big monster, and that being a boss
That's
fight.
very Kirby,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
It would be. It'd be unexpected for Mario.
Speaking of unexpected, the Retro Gamer guy asked, do you think they'll make a demo for Mario Brothers Wonder? And 100%, or 95% no. I don't think we get an actual like downloadable demo, but what this does mean for sure is there's obviously going to be a playable demo at PAX Live, or at PAX at Nintendo Live. Lock it in, that's a guarantee at this point. And I think that might be partially why they're doing this direct, just to get out ahead of that. So, because people will be playing the game, we're going to have footage of it, and I think that might be why they're doing this direct now, rather than as part of a Nintendo Direct, later in September, which almost is probably for sure happening.
Yeah, it makes sense to, like, just ahead of the show, actually, kind of show off things people could encounter in gameplay in a live setting demo, and somewhere in this presentation mention, hey, if you're going to this event, you could play it there, and yeah.
You don't want a demo, chat. You don't even want one. Trust me, it's not that exciting. Okay, you play a couple of levels and then you go, man, I sure wish I had this game. And then you get the game, and those levels you played in the demo, they're not as exciting as they would have been if you didn't have that demo. You already know you're buying this. You already know this is a high quality product. Most people out there, I feel like we've accepted these things. So like, don't even sweat this. Don't even sweat it. Yeah.
I'm just excited to see more, and I think we touched on it earlier. The power-ups is like kind of like a big gap in this right now. Like that's often a big thing in Mario games, and they really barely touched on it in the initial trailer. I think we only see Fire Mario, Fire Peach, or fire characters basically. We don't even know if Yoshi can use power-ups yet, I think officially or not. And then the tease, of course, only the the Wonder Fruit at the end, or whatever, the elephant fruit that Mario turns into.
Yeah.
And again, we don't even know what that does. So I think that's going to be a big area that they can focus on. Like, what other standard power-ups are there? What special transformations are there? Because turning into an elephant Mario, that's actually a big freaking deal. This is not something that Mario usually does in the 2D games. He always wears costumes. He doesn't turn into that character. So that suggests that something possibly far grander than what we're even expecting. And that might really transform what we think of this game. And in addition to that too, I was looking at the trailer again, Tris, and I noticed that they even have I forgot, I didn't do a whole lot of research, but they have a specific running animation when you reach a top speed, and it makes me wonder if there's gonna be some kind of flying power up involved too, like you would in Mario World or Mario 3, where he puts out his arms.
The raccoon suit, yeah. That would be really great to get something like that back. Actually, I think this is their opportunity to have a wide variety of power-ups again. Not that we didn't in like the new Super Mario Brothers era, but a lot of them were all like within the realm of like expectations. Like, okay, you had your version to fire and ice, and the alternate version of ice with a penguin suit that slid around, and you had the propeller suit that would launch you up more. You had the flying squirrel suit that would let you glide a bit, like Peach's glide, basically. I want to see them use this opportunity to actually go like really, really cool with a bunch of power-ups, like
go off the
both
wall.
New and returning. Yeah, off the wall, like new and returning. Like, give me Mario Maker 2 showed off what the cat suit could be like in 2D. Bring the cat suit into this from 3D World. Give me a bunch of abilities from across the series, some that have never even been in 2D before, because I think you could do some really cool things with them in this game.
Wait. Okay, imagine you see the cat suit. You go the bell. You see the bell.
Yeah.
You go up to collect it. You know what I mean? You run up. You're like, oh, I'm gonna turn into. You know what I mean? And you don't put the cat suit on. Instead, you become a cat. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. That would be so sick.
That would be.
Tris, you just identified for me that I think I hold the belief that most 2D Mario power-ups are boring, and I'm actually more interested in these now because I feel like there's just like two different types of power-up. It's like you kind of dash and turn into something, or you like shoot a thing that goes at that very specific angle, and it's like, I don't know, it's not super interesting to me. I like the propeller suit. I think that's a cool one, but yeah, the other things here, I want to know from both of you if there's like because I think we got to see another animal. I think we got to see one. So if I were to ask you, what is the best animal? What would you say? What is the best animal?
Oh man.
Man, that's so tough.
Yeah. What is the best animal?
I am a cat.
Chat, tell me what is the best animal.
I'm a cat person. We already have Cat Mario, so
Okay. Someone said frog in chat. I just need to say, if we got the frog suit back, that would be so hype. If we got the frog suit back from like Mario 3, that'd be great.
No suits. and he must be amphibious. He must have webbed hands.
I mean, we had this in Mario Odyssey. You can literally become a frog in Mario Odyssey.
I'm seeing dinosaurs. People saying dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs pretty good.
I feel like something that's been underexplored in Mario is like some kind of like wall climbing, like something that interacts with the walls in any way. Like we had maybe a light amount of that with the flying squirrel suit, or could cling to a wall, but I didn't really do a whole lot. Actually, it was more annoying than anything. But maybe they could do
World's
something.
Cat suit was the closest you can get, where it actually would.
Oh, that's true. Actually, you
could
could clamber up walls. So okay, maybe.
But
not
if you
then.
modified that a bit to like be a bit more climbing based than anything else, that could be interesting.
No, listen, put the suits aside. What is the best animal?
Mr. M. Okay, Mr. M. It listed what I was going to actually say. It was in my mind. I was afraid of saying it. I want a monkey suit or monkey transformation. I was afraid of saying it because that seems like DK's territory, but I don't care. It's Mario Wonder. They can do whatever. I think having like a monkey type thing, we're just like swinging around, grabbing things, like adding a much more parkour feel to the game, that could be amazing.
I actually love that idea. I think that could be really interesting, and it could be a great way to sort of test the waters for what a return to new Donkey Kong in the future could be like as well.
Speaking of testing the waters, DJ Hicks in the chat saying shark. A shark. You know what? Actually,
for water level?
Yeah.
Water levels? That would be really cool.
You know what? That's what I want. That's actually really what I want. I typically dislike water levels in Mario games. I think they're kind of boring. They're slow. The frog suit. That's why people like the frog suit. It actually made them tolerable. If they made it fun to actually swim around, kind of like in Donkey Kong Country Returns, like it's fun to swim around in that game, or Tropical Freeze. I would love that. So maybe some kind of transformation in the water.
The super chat is killing me right now. The Vidion's hedgehog, and then he can run super fast.
Oh my god,
that would actually be so funny though. Oh my god,
that would be really funny.
Yeah, and then another super chat from Hollowboy Gaming: Giraffe Luigi and Yoshi as a stallion. Okay,
yes.
See, this is what I wanted with this conversation about the shark and the stallion. I feel like now all of a sudden you can have these Mario levels that let them do something very different. You know what I mean? It's like this is, I hate that I'm making this comparison, so forgive me, but in Sonic Superstars there's those cyber levels, and like my dudes like turn into a rocket ship, you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden you're not like running and jumping, you're like playing in a different way, but still like thinking in a platformer mindset. And I'm just like, oh my god, if there's a level in this where you turn into a horse and you're just like galloping, you know what I mean? And you gotta like do little jumps and stuff, like, dude, that's so fun. That's such a good time.
I would be shocked if the elephant transformation was the only one we would get. It might be like the main one. It might be like the new big one that we'll see the most often. But I would be shocked if there wasn't like, you know, like situational power-ups, like a power-up that or a transformation more specifically that you can use in the water for underwater levels, or some sort of transformation for like flying levels, things like that. I imagine we might see some sort of abilities like that at play here that really shake up how they also do their level design.
Yeah, well, and actually that's a great point because I actually made a whole short about this. But the elephant power up, like it actually does hint to add more than what we've seen in the Mario game typically. Because even though we don't see what he does, he transforms into it right by a giant fountain that just so happens to have elephant statues as part of the structure, making me think that for that power specifically, like you can inhale water and like spit it out or do something with it. Maybe spray enemies. Like Donkey Country 3 experiment with this a little bit with its own elephant power, and that makes me think like what else can you do with other characters then that can maybe interact in unique ways with the environment that you just simply can't do otherwise. So it could be more of that too. That maybe these transformations are more mandatory than the typical power up, like more like Mario Galaxy, where you did have to transform to like a bee or a spring at points, and you actually do need to play these different characters.
Now, another thing I've been thinking about is that the elephant and a lot of the stuff that's going on in this game is very similar to the Alice in Wonderland Elephant Parade. Okay, and if you've seen this, if it's been I really mean this. And if you like go back and you watch it, like look it up on YouTube, Elephant Parade, you will see things that are just like in the Mario Wonder trailer. Like you see somebody get like all stretchy and tall and then go down real short and then get stretchy and tall again, just like that one point in the trailer. There's of course like the elephant that is like, in the color scheme and like the name Wonder, Alice in Wonderland, like it's all right there. So
well,
I'm
remember,
thinking
there's also the level, like one of the levels on the world map we see is Piranha Plants on Parade.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I remember back for the analysis, we were even thinking that might be an intentional reference, but continue.
Yeah. And then another thing that's like that's in that is like there's like the caterpillar character that's like out there like smoking his hookah doing his thing, and I'm like, yo, that caterpillar, that's just like out here in this Mario Wonder. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, so is there anything, should I follow these breadcrumbs back and see like what else is in like the Elephant Parade and stuff like that that would maybe give us some insight into what another power could be. And at one point in that video there's like kind of a cool dragon thing. There's kind of like a cool, like, smoky dragon guy flying in the air, and I was like, whoa, Dragon Mario? I could see that happening. You know what I mean? You're kind of like flying, you could shoot some fire. Like, that seems like something you could do in a Mario game, Dragon Mario. So that's what I'm putting forward.
That's not even too unreasonable, too, because if you think of, like, the most watered-down version of that idea being Mario Maker put wings on Yoshi and let him spit fireballs with, like, an ability, which he's been able to do in past games. You take that as like the most watered down form of it and you just kind of evolve that. That could be really interesting.
Okay, really quick. A lot of people in the chat are saying I'm getting Alice in Wonderland and Dumbo mixed up. I am not. You are mistaken. I am in fact talking about Alice. This is an Alice thing. I have the video to the left of me right now. I see Alice. Was Alice in Dumbo?
Oh, Elephants on Parade was Dumbo. That's what it was. Because I said...
No, but Alice is in there, right?
No, so I had the same. I agree with chat, and I was totally picturing. Is it like the weird, funky animation, like psychedelic style?
The video I'm watching right now is literally called Alice in Elephant Parade, and it shows the character Alice in Wonderland, blue dress, blonde hair, in this like psychedelic video. I am not crazy. This is okay. All
right, chat. I apologize. You probably heard some sound effects on my end. I was trying to find the video and I forgot that was coming through.
Okay. I now have confirmation. There are elements of this in both.
Okay.
There are yes. Okay. Yes. Right. It's taking from both things.
I actually love the idea in general, Jake, just because we know. I think it's been said before that Mario was partially inspired by Alice in Wonderland itself back in the day, from the mushrooms to like being in what izakaya, whatever.
Izakaya.
Yeah. So I love that they take even more inspiration, and perhaps we can look at that and to see like what else they do what else they may be doing here. Real quick, get a few more super chats. GameBiter says, will Yoshi be able to ride another Yoshi? That is the ultimate question. Jake, you're the expert.
Yes, lock it in. 100%. And you will be able to ride a Yoshi riding a Yoshi.
Wow. Like this is like the Tower of Power from the Sega Genesis.
Exactly.
Like endless Yoshis.
You'll have the one gamer who's the pro, and then your casual friends, and you'll say, get on my back. Okay, and then you carry them to the end of the level. Sometimes I did that in 3D World with my fiance. I'd be like, listen, I'm gonna let's just go.
I got this.
If you can actually form your own like Goomba stack with Yoshis and other characters, that'd be hilarious. I love that idea. Taylor Plays says with a super chat, thank you. So those talking flowers, do you suppose the whole adventure may just be a dream? I'm glad you brought this up, Taylor Plays, because I actually had the thought earlier where these dream, or not dream seeds, these Wonder Seed areas do almost look very dreamlike to me, which I forget, Alice in Wonderland wasn't a dream, right? But I don't know, that also had like a very dreamlike appearance to it.
Yeah, I'm with Jake. I'm with Jake on
It
exactly
depends
that.
on who you ask,
No, okay.
which story you're reading. It depends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole point, the
Yeah.
point I'm getting at, someone else in chat had touched on this earlier. I would love this is the return for Wart. Like if he's the justification for why all these weird things are happening, because he was, of course, the ruler of the dream world in Mario 2. We've not really seen him at all since. This is how you bring him back. If they reveal
cool.
Wart here, oh my god, like that's how you get social media attention.
I think that's awesome. I love the idea of like Nintendo and with one of their biggest franchises, like looking to another piece of art and taking inspiration from it. I'm pretty sure like the original Lewis Carroll book in Alice in Wonderland, they reveal at the end that it was a dream. And I think it would be cool just to go up to people and be like, you know, Mario Wonder 2023, inspired by Lewis Carroll's, Alice in Wonderland novel from God knows when. I just like that'd be awesome, you know,
Yeah,
and just be able to like, I just to like draw that comparison
Right, yeah.
between like I don't know, like that's like fun and interesting and cool to me, and to know that they were informed by something like that to that degree.
Well,
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. The thing is, Nintendo almost never cites like what their inspirations are.
But I can say it. You know
you
what
can
I
say
mean?
absolutely.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
point to
yeah.
it, be like, yo, that's straight up from this, then totally.
Straight up.
We had another super chat from Julie. It's me. It says, quoting, Total Raccoon Mario could actually be adorable. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. If they actually, that would be fun. If they brought back classic power-ups in that way, where you straight up just transform into those characters, or those animals.
It would make sense if they were doing something like that. It would make sense why all we've seen thus far is just the mushroom and the fire flower, the ones that aren't related to animal power-ups.
Right, good point. There's no, what for fire would even use? Charmander? Duluth Tag Orb with a super chat, thank you, says, I hope we get to add cosmetics like with Sonic Superstars. So that is a possible use of the currencies that we see in the game. Do you think there's a chance that there are unlockables, especially, maybe this ties, Triss, into the fact that there seems to be in-game purchases of some kind based on the ESRB rating that could apply to online too, as we know. Do you think there's a possibility there are cosmetics in here?
I'm so torn because I feel like up until Super Mario Odyssey, the idea of cosmetics in a mainline Mario game that wasn't just a spin-off was just such a no. Why would Nintendo do that? Like they're so, I don't want to say they're anti like doing cosmetics and all that, but you look at Sonic games compared to Mario games, and Sonic's like embraced that like completely. I don't know if I see them doing that here outside of you have different colors of Yoshi. Which might just be so all 4 players are able to play a Yoshi if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just completely different from like a brand management perspective.
Yeah.
Like those Sonic creatures are just like freaks, and they're like you can play Sonic Forces and you can get a shirt that has like Sonic on it, and like run around in this game with like a Sonic shirt and like weird spiked bracelets and stuff. You know what I mean? That's just the vibe that they want. And I think in a Mario game they're probably like hyper fixated on how all of these characters look. But Super Mario Odyssey is like a great point, and I feel like that was successful for them. But I also think that maybe, you know, they like to have differences between their games, and they don't want like, oh, this is something you can just do in all these different Mario games because it makes them a little more homogenized. So I don't know. I almost see it as more likely, and maybe this is insane of me, but I almost see it as more likely that they'll be like, here's a little character you can buy.
Oh, like little DLC packs, or like everyone in chat wanting like Wario, Waluigi, Rosalina. If there is no difference in how they play, I could definitely see that, because all it really changes is like it doesn't like add a new ability or whatnot. If they do have unique abilities, I think that'd be harder to do because they would need to make sure each of them still have a unique ability.
Right. Yeah,
I think you could do it.
I think it's more likely than cosmetics in this case. I don't think we'll see those. But yeah, hey, more new characters. Like they already have, I think, a record amount in this game already for a 2D game, right? Or maybe matching Mario Run at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is there anyone in Mario Run that's not in this game?
Toadette. That's
Toadette.
really
Oh,
it.
that's right, Toadette. Okay.
And
Yeah.
like some of the Yoshi colors are different. That's about it.
Is yeah, Toadette would be. I wonder, like, Toadette would be a perfect candidate for like a character you
I
can
mean,
unlock.
she was in New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe and Mario Maker 2 as well. So
I just
What
don't
about
want
Mies?
me. Oh no,
what
I don't think
What
so.
about Mies?
Mies
No,
are dead.
no Mies.
Mies are dead, Jake.
are they?
Dead and buried.
Okay.
Basically, Nintendo does not like to reference them unless they have to.
Andre, I saw a very legitimate looking leak of the Nintendo Focus, and that had a Me Maker app front
It
and
did.
center.
Yes, it did. Yeah. Well, that's I honestly I don't even want Mii's. Like I like Mii's in general, not in my Mario. Like because I remember when they first announced Super Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers U. It was back then. It was Super Mario Brothers Me, I think. New Super Mario Brothers
Something
Me,
like that, yeah.
and it just felt like even more generic already somehow than it already was, and they downplayed that element in the final game. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, and actually, yeah, Boss Guy's saying exactly that in the chat. So, Boss Guy, we're on the same wavelength today. Let's see. Here's a question: are we gonna see? Are we gonna actually see Bowser this time? We've seen Bowser Jr. We've seen Bowser's airship thing. Are we actually gonna see him himself?
I think we'll see Bowser in a cutscene. We won't see Bowser in like an actual battle against him. That's what
So,
I
like,
think.
in, like, a story,
or
like
we
a-
might get like we might get like the intro, like the animation for the start of his battle or something. But I don't think we're gonna actually get a look at battling Bowser like we did in the really short clip of battling Bowser Jr.
So, Janko in the chat, or Jonko, thinks there will be a new villain in the game.
Yeah, I think that's likely as well. I also just think that, like, given what we saw of Bowser Jr. and that feeling like an early game boss, I feel like Bowser is probably further down the line and similarly being controlled. So I feel like
Yeah.
if you reveal Bowser, you're all of a sudden talking about a part of the game that's maybe like pretty far in. So yeah, so I think new villain. And then maybe we see them. I feel like that's classic Nintendo to set that sort of thing up. Like I can see this direct just like starting with, here's what's going on in this game, you know, and just like to give you the premise and like the narrative thrust. So yeah, so I don't think it's Bowser, but what was that somebody reported on this. What was that thing about Bowser that we saw at
There
some
was an
point?
ESRB leak that confirmed that Bowser is in the game. I don't think it explicitly said he's a final boss necessarily, but it did suggest he has a major role, which probably is as the final boss.
Playable, special playable character.
No,
Bowser.
They made it sound like you fight against him at some point.
But what if you unlock? What if you?
If you unlock him, that'd be great.
Bowser's too big. He's too big as a boss.
No,
He can't fit.
How dare you?
It's Ridley
How
all
dare
over
you?
again.
This Ridley argument. No.
Separate mode.
No. Oh God.
Bowser mode. There you go.
But listen. Once again, calling back to Alice in Wonderland, growing, shrinking. These are all things that are commonplace. Maybe our sweet caterpillar cast the Ant-Man spell on Bowser, and now he is the perfect size to be a playable. You play as mini Bowser in Mario
funny.
Wonder. That'd be awesome.
No, it actually would be.
Listen, if you could be a Bowser in this game, goat. This is just I don't know what to say. Like that would be insane.
Or the Koopalings at the least.
No, I don't want to be them. They're losers.
Benja Ross says playable Wario and Waluigi, please, Nintendo. Oh my god.
I'm right there
yeah.
with you. I'm right there with you.
I would love to see them, kind of like how we're finally getting Daisy. Like, if we got more characters, I think it'd be great. But I think if they're not revealed here, if it doesn't happen, like we said earlier, maybe DLC, but I don't see them as likely, unfortunately. Maybe in the game after this one, if they kind of keep working off of this kind of idea, but I don't know.
Do you entertain any possibility of post-game of expansion, New Super Luigi U, but it's like the Wario Waluigi expansion or the Donkey Kong expansion? Like, is this even in the realm of possibility?
I'm torn with specifically the Luigi style you mentioned, because what they did for that was they just removed Mario, and it was the same playable cast that was already there with a bunch of new levels. And I do think we could see some sort of DLC expansion for the game that's new levels, more to do, maybe even like a new power up in them. But I don't know if it would have like new or even unique characters to it. is the thing.
JD Station in the chat with a Megamind idea. Wario Wonderland DLC.
Oh my
That's
god.
that's
Oh.
galaxy brain thinking. That's awesome.
You know,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go all in on like Wario and Waluigi specifically, or any kind of post-game character tied thing.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I would love if they actually did do a kind of post-game. Like, you know, before they've had extra worlds and whatnot. I'm sure that'll be the case here too. But they actually had like a full-on New Game Plus type thing where, not New Game Plus, but like where it's things are different or harder, kind of like Kirby's Dream Land. That'd be amazing. Give us even more reason to revisit the game. I think this is a great opportunity to do it with the Wonder Flowers in particular, or Wonder Seeds, because you can just totally transform each of those areas. Like, I mean, that's something we don't even fully know too. Like, is each Wonder Seed bespoke to that region? Is it possible that they may change? Like, maybe you have the Wonder Seeds get swapped around, maybe they have different effects that aren't always the same level to level. I mean, for each instance.
We could confirm through this game that Wario is a weird distortion of Mario by Mario picking up like a Wonder Flower, Wonder Seed, whatever the heck it is, and doing a weird transformation, and he like turns into Wario. And it's like a power up, you know what I mean? And he can like
That's
shoulder
hilarious.
charge and do stuff like that. And then Luigi gets the same power up, and he turns into Waluigi.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
This is
Why are you not into this? This is an awesome idea.
I honestly, I can't envision a world in which Wario and Waluigi coexist alongside Mario in a mainline game.
Wow.
Maybe I don't know we're at that point yet. Maybe one of these days, but
right.
Mario Land 2 I think was basically it. That was the beginning and end of Wario as far as he exists in the main Mario games.
Listen,
Which is
Daisy's
weird.
finally made it back. Let's maybe eventually,
There we
eventually,
go.
but maybe not today.
All right, is there anything else about this game we could possibly hope to see that we don't know about?
Oh man. I hope we see some kind of unique world. I know that doesn't mean as much to people. Like, I know we have like the traditional like worlds in Mario. You have your grasslands, you have your beaches, you have your underworld or underwater rather. Fire levels eventually, things like that. We've seen some nice looking ones in here that aren't the same. Like, we've seen one that looks like it's set in autumn. I hope we have something that feels new to Mario. Like, it doesn't just feel like one of the typical world styles. I hope we see something that like thematically feels different, mechanically has differences to it, and it just feels new and exciting.
I like that, Tris. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea, so to speak.
Not wonder.
It's so funny because you can, like, even for a game as different as this, even the first world is still very clearly in that grassy plains type style, you know? If they have some truly different themes here, that could be neat. I don't fully know what they could do just because they tend to stick to very general themes, like, you know, ice, snow, forest, you know, and
exactly.
But if they could go more specific.
All you need to do is like look at any Sonic game and be like, okay, do this, but in Mario.
Right.
Do the casino, do the weird like cyber thing, do like a city, dude. You're like running in a town, you know.
Oh,
I was thinking a
like
city too.
Yeah, I mean, 3D World had the Bowser City at least, but that wasn't a 2D game. The thing is, though, this is based in the Flower Kingdom, which suggests like there's probably not a whole lot of industry here. It's all agriculture.
Wow, Andre, that's a little okay. I hope the chat, that was a politically charged statement about the Flower Kingdom. But all right, my shot in the dark complete that I'm always gonna want a Mario game to do just because I think it's cool. I recognize this as a low chance of happening, but you know how like you're playing a 3D Mario game and then all of a sudden you'll come across this cool section that lets you play a little 2D. It's like, oh man, now I'm flat Mario. Now what?
3D?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would be nuts.
Like that perspective.
That's almost a Sonic type thing. You got the bonus stages that are 3D in a 2D game. Oh man, I did not
going back to Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, I guess that's the closest we've had. You know what? I don't see it happening, but Jake, I will love it. That will fit in so well here, I think. Yeah, that'd be like, especially like like a Wonder Seed. I guess kind of like Paper Mario, as you were saying, Super Paper Mario, Triss, is like it briefly transforms the level into the 3D version. Oh my god, like I could see that at least. Or a boss fight, if not the final boss fight, like a 3D Wonder type thing.
Yeah. That's kind of how I picture it too. It's not like it's not like a 3D game all of a sudden, but it literally is like you take this kind of like straight path and you just go, and now it's like, okay, you've got like 3 paths, so to speak, and you can kind of I think
you know what game did this? Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with the minecart segments. It would go behind the,
That's
the
right.
characters. Yep, give that 3D view, and you had the different tracks it could hop to.
Yeah.
And we have
Man,
seen
that'd be
there
awesome.
are like runner segments in the game seemingly, like when you're being chased by a wiggler or you're on some kind of rail. So that would work so well. The only reason why I don't think we'll see that, Jake, and you know, it's not impossible, but given the art style for the game where it literally almost
I
like
know.
the foreground's on
Yeah.
the 2D plane, it's not even a 3D plane. It makes it difficult to envision how they'll fit it in. But hey, I'm down for it if they do.
Yeah.
We
I
got-
would just like something on that gameplay level. You know what I mean? That's like, oh man, this is different. This
That'd
is
be cool.
like,
No,
we're
totally.
doing
I love
something.
that idea.
Yeah.
Bring back the shooter levels of Mario Land. Let's like have a little shmup in there.
Mario Land.
We got a $10 super chat from Mancub. Thank you. Says, if the other characters don't transform into elephants, what do you think Peach and Daisy would morph into? Although Yoshi would look good as a goat. Okay, I actually like the goat idea better than a horse. Yeah, we talked about Luigi a bit. We talked about Yoshi. We didn't talk about Peach or Daisy. Like, yeah, it's and I think there is like some additional layers to this, just because Nintendo, you know, they are princesses. Nintendo wants them to be refined. I feel like that would be hilarious if they weren't. Like if they turn into, I don't know, some not conventionally attractive animal or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Something
the
that
hideous
comes to
tortoise.
mind for me.
Yes,
The classically hideous
Mind to
tortoise.
me is like
yeah.
a bird, and it's like the dress turns into like the wings.
Oh, I could see that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. The other one that comes to mind is like I know I'm going to this well a lot.
Sorry,
but
real
like
quick.
the
Daisy the hippo
oh, yeah.
from New OJ. Yes, that's what I want. Daisy the hippo. Oh my
The
god.
disrespect. They're vicious. They're vicious
They
creatures. Hippopotamuses.
They are. They're brutal. No, she
yeah.
tear it up. All right, sorry. Continue, Jack.
No, yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to have this kind of like ability in a game. But you know how in like Alice in Wonderland you got the Cheshire Cat that can like turn invisible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a thing. You know what I mean? I could see somebody doing
chameleon
that.
ability.
Oh, that'd be cool. Dude, any kind of like little lizard would actually be kind of hype. That'd be kind of sick. Yeah. Cool.
I would love that.
I'm trying to think of
just Yoshi.
what other animals are there. Any animals like that are associated with those characters at all? Like, I wonder, like, could Daisy possibly turn into like a plant-based thing?
I was noodling on that too,
Wiggler.
and I wasn't sure what that power would be like. You know,
She could turn into a prom
yeah.
plant, Jake. That's her whole thing.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. I mean, we see, Toad is a Goomba, so
Yeah, that is that. And the key art, we do have like the Goomba with the blue toad hat, implying it might be a blue toad transformed into a Goomba. So we might be seeing them transform into other like Mario enemies too.
It could be. Wasn't there a hat like that in 3D World or something?
In 3D World, you could kill a Goomba, and occasionally it would drop
Wear
its
its
head.
face.
Which, yeah, you wear it like a prop.
Oh my god!
And you, like, run around and-
face out there in Mario now. Jesus.
it's so
And
weird.
you'll blend in, right? They think you're one of them.
Yep.
That's so messed up. But
cool.
that could be something similar here too, or maybe you can maybe there's like some light stealth in the game. You can blend in with the Goombas; they don't attack you. I'm hung up on the Peach thing. Like, what else? What else could she be? She could literally turn into a peach. She can roll around as a peach.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Funny. That'd be funny.
Yeah. I saw a great suggestion from Padman Production in the chat, who suggested Mario Kart levels. I've just never thought of that before, and that's such a fun idea. Like, we kind of had that in Mario Maker, where you got that little car thing you can get on.
And 3D World. Not a kart, but they had the Mario Kart themed levels. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I just think that's like a fun. I think that's just exciting, and I think that's like a good little like trailer moment. You could just throw that into like a bunch of scenes, and we just be like, oh my god, they're karting out here. Like, yeah, that's a really cool suggestion.
That would be cool. That would be really cool.
Especially given how prominent, even more prominent Mario Kart is now, even beyond the games, because it's had major presences at the Mario movie and at Super Nintendo World. So that would be fun, bringing into a 2D game proper. Young Ninja 84 Productions with a super chat, thank you, says they should retell the stories of Mario and Luigi as babies. 2-player co-op DLC. Also, the gang should get sent to jungle, and DK and Diddy should join them. Maybe the sequel. Maybe for the sequel.
Yeah, that's another game. That's a good game though.
I like it. Yep.
Realistically, in terms of like what to expect for this though, I think we have covered like the big things that'll be here, like an overview trailer style breakdown of the characters, the power-ups, the Wonder Flower kind of mechanics, and then teasers for other things. I do think by this game getting a dedicated game-specific direct before release, there will be some sort of DLC expansion because almost every other one that's had that got that and revealed before release.
And that does tie into, again, the news that there seemingly are in-game purchases, which, again, could relate to an online mode.
Yep.
But you might be onto something.
I do think that's what we're going to see, though, in some form. I don't. They won't tell us much about it, I imagine, but just that there is going to be something. Like the Xenoblade 3 one announced there will be an expansion pack, or an expansion pass. Didn't say much of what was going to be in it. Splatoon 3 said there was going to be like a DLC, like story expansion. Didn't say anything about it at the time. We'll probably see something like that here.
It's interesting because it's not really all that unprecedented, because they've effectively had that already in a couple of different forms, like with New Super Luigi U, which is effectively a download, and then also 3D World in a way with Bowser's Fury is also effectively an expansion, although more its own game. But I think that's entirely possible. We could see some kind of like, which I'm cool with. Like, hey, if the base game is strong enough and it's good, sure, I'm happy to have more. So
hard to imagine for some reason for me. I have a hard time picturing like the game is out day 0 and you know that there is more content coming that's like not in the base game. I don't know why. Something about the 2D Mario-ness of it just like feels weird to me. So I respect, I understand that signs are pointing to that being the case here, but I think if that is the case, they gotta at least kind of tell us what kind of content it is.
Oh, for sure. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't want them to do the light tease that they did with Splatoon 3. Real quick, a chat stood out to me. Nintendo Scarlet suggests, how about Butterfly Daisy? I actually really like that idea. And that ties
Butterfly Daisy.
And that ties into the whole like flower thing.
Yeah.
So that's a smart choice. The retro gamer guy. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Back on this DLC thing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Now I'm just can you like go on the eShop and pre-order this game right now, right?
Probably.
Okay.
I guess if not, it will be after, I'm sure, the direct. Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking like, is there going to be like a version of this game you can buy that's more expensive that like has the DLC bundled in?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think any of their other games have done that.
Yeah. I mean, it's always possible, but I don't think. Yeah, that's uncharacteristic for Nintendo. And if anything, the deals would come at a later date, and I think it'd be its own entire thing. So I don't think.
I'm kind of suspecting that this might be expansion pack fodder. I think this might be a good time to bump up those NSO subscriptions, and you get this included. You know, like Mario Kart's about to be done, and I feel like. I can't remember the last time they even added something onto the expansion pack. So I feel like now this might be the thing. That's like, oh yeah, you get this.
The newest thing they might have added to it was the Animal Crossing expansion, the Happy Home, whatever it was.
Designer.
Oh yeah, it's time. It's time. I think that contributes to why there isn't a version. You know what I mean? You like not taking people's money for that until now, until you like tell them. You know what I mean? You'll get this with that thing. So yeah, I don't know.
JD Staten, or JD Staten knows something. I wonder if you had this in the analysis, Tris. From our trailer being on repeat like for 300 times now in our stream, they just noticed in the trailer as it's playing on loop that the pipe that Daisy pushes has a faint star on it. So maybe the ones with the stars are the ones that can be pushed.
Yeah, that pipe definitely looks like it stands out because it's not just a random pipe you walk up to, but like right behind it, it looks like there's a slot for it to fit into. So it might have some sort of visual indicator to indicate, yes, this is one that needs to be pushed and slotted back into place, kind of thing.
What I like more, if you extrapolate from that idea, like I think having more fun interactions like that's something 2D Mario doesn't do with. Like the environment is set, it doesn't change. You can't really interact with it besides like breaking blocks. I would love if they have more interactions like that. And I think even in that scene, isn't there like another character pushing it back? Or
there's a big boy. There's a big boy pushing it, and then she pushes up against that character, which made me think Daisy was strong, and that was
I see.
You know what I mean? That was her thing. Yeah, but
Nintendo Scarlet also in chat. Would this be amiibo compatible? I would be shocked if this presentation did not reveal an Elephant Mario or some sort of amiibo for Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
That's interesting.
Because they've done 3D World had a Cat Mario and Cat Peach amiibo, and what was special about them? They had the weird texture to them. That was it. They didn't really do anything special outside of when you scanned them. Oh, we'll give you a mushroom or a firefly. We'll give you a random item. So there's precedent for that already. I imagine we'll probably see similar styled amiibo support for this game, but I'd be shocked if there wasn't going to be a brand new amiibo announced here for it.
They have too many
Maybe not
amiibo
launching
right
in
now.
time for the game,
I
but
think-
maybe
They have too they have too many right now. There's so many amiibo coming out. There's the Splatoon ones, Zelda ones. There's Sora maybe. Sora, where are you? So,
I mean, they did say Noah and Mia from Xenoblade 3 will be getting amiibo figures, but that was just in text. They never even showed them or anything. So who knows when those are coming? Yeah.
They had to find some way to make the amiibo stand out too. There's already so many Mario amiibo. I feel like.
I was saying if it's Elephant Mario or something.
Elephant Mario, yeah, exactly. The transformations I could definitely see. Though what function they would have in the game, I'm not quite sure. Maybe you could just transform at any time into that character, even if that
maybe
might
or drops the power up. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Just because like it's interesting because we were talking about this earlier before the stream. Like the artwork they're using on like the box doesn't necessarily really reflect the in-game, the way they look in game. Like Yoshi looks different, even Mario himself looks different. So that's why I think the amiibo they might be a little boring compared to the actual in-game look.
Because they would look more like the cover designs.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like normal. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Boss Guy, I wanted to touch on this earlier, Boss Guy. I didn't only because it doesn't seem like they're doing it, but there is actually, it's happening right now. There is a scene that just happened that teased something in the foreground, and Boss Guy says, I'm excited for foreground and background play. Do we see anything explicitly in the trailer, Triss, that
there is there is the scene with multiplayer with Fire Peach, where she comes out of a pipe and she's in the foreground,
of course, yes.
In the background. Yep.
I forgot about that. That's right. Okay, that's a huge element. That's a huge something a huge part they could possibly play into more. And I love that about Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, how that interplay between dimensions and having multiple people on different planes that really actually could lead to some unique interactions, I think. So that actually, I love that. That's something I've been hoping for ever since New Super Mario Bros. 2. Back in that original trailer analysis, I think my first ever full-on video analysis, I'm like, hey, it looks like these could exist in different planes. They did not, sadly. But I love that they're finally doing that here.
Finally.
And isn't Sonic Superstars doing that too? At the same time? Like multiplane?
Is it?
I feel like
I just did this. I'm so sorry. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, maybe not as direct, but
yeah, it's tough because like having just played that and now watching this video, to me this looks like so much more suited for co-op multiplayer. And even like in that section where that we were just talking about of like Peach coming up in the foreground and the other characters in the background, it's like there's like single screen gameplay of stuff for you to do. Whereas like in Sonic, typically you're moving forward. So it's so this just looks appealing to me. It looks good. I'm not quite as into. I've never like played a game that had that foreground background play and really thought it was like adding a ton. I like that Smash Brothers for Wii U course that did it that one time. I thought that was fun. It was so weird. They never brought that back.
Was it the Donkey Kong course?
It was.
The Donkey Kong stage? Yeah. Donkey Kong's done it well.
Yeah.
It was just I don't, that stage like isn't in Ultimate. It'd be cool if it was, but so I don't know. It's if they show it here and they do some stuff with it, I'd like to see, I think, more like that single screen focus of things you're doing like together and what that interplay looks like, rather than just like moving to a different plane for the sake of there like being different things there. Because otherwise I might as well just like progress in the level, I think. But maybe I just have no joy in my heart. You know what I mean? Maybe I gotta open my heart and see again.
I mean, at the very least, like in the Donkey Kong games, it adds like a fun kinetic energy to it all, where you are like vaulting between areas. And I noticed too, like there's actually a couple points in the trailer where you actually straight up see like level designs in the background. So I mean, I hope they do. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's better they use it for some kind of like unique mechanic rather than just being there. But so I want to circle back to a comment the Retro Gamer guy had said earlier. So we haven't touched on it too much. What do you think the plot of Mario Wonder is going to be about? So that's just it. Are we going to find out more about it here? What is the story? Why are they in the Flower Kingdom? Are they on vacation again? Is Toadsworth going to appear, Triss?
No Toadsworth, sadly. I think what we'll see is similar to the intro of Super Mario 3D World, where we'll see the main premise of the story is kind of told to the intro of why they're here. In 3D World, it was, they were just like all having a nice time together, and then Bowser appeared because they found the pipe, and then they're gonna go stop him, go through the pipe. I think we'll see something similar here. It might be like the little Wiggler Prince thing goes and tells everyone, hey, my kingdom's under attack, help. And they all just kind of, we gotta go help. And then they just go run over or somehow get over there to the Flower Kingdom. And then there they are, they're in it.
Here's what it is. Mario,
All right,
Luigi.
here
All right. I love how everybody clenches when I say here's what it is. I go,
Just a
here's what it
reflex.
is. Here's what it is. You have Mario, Luigi, Daisy, and Peach, let's say. And they're sitting under a tree. And they're all sitting there and they're playing on their Nintendo Switches. All right. They're having like the time of their life. They're bumping elbows, they're having a good time. And then Mario does like a little stretch and he like closes his eyes for a second. And then he opens them, and oh my god, they're in the Flower Kingdom. And there's this caterpillar, and he's like, yo, we need your help. You're here. And they're like, whoa, how did we even get here?
I love
Yeah.
this. I love
Thank
that.
you.
That's what I want. And if this is in fact a dream world, lock it in. Wart's gonna
Yes.
be here, 100%.
Yes.
Oh man.
Because I mean, I say that knowing that they had the perfect opportunity before in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and they failed there. They cannot fail twice in a row. If this is a whole dream setup here, then man, I'm set. I'm totally down for Wart. But I honestly, I don't think it is, just because they haven't like explicitly teased anything dream related. Like it's it's in the Flower Kingdom. Like why get that specific of a theme if it's not going to be dream related? But that is.
I think it's just similar enough to the Mushroom Kingdom, but also just different enough that it's like, and I gotta say, a lot of the stuff in the gameplay, like there's a cloud and it's raining, and Mario like swims up the cloud. Like this feels
there's
like
weird stuff.
dream
100%. I totally agree
Yeah.
with that. But let's see, sorry, Saha Prox reminds us of something that we've touched on before, which isn't impossible still, but that it's not a dream world. You can see the Mushroom Kingdom in the background of that first stage. Now they could
Yep.
still imagine the Mushroom Kingdom, but why have that if this were explicitly a dream world? So I think this is a physical place. Now that isn't to say there couldn't be dream elements, but I think that may still be a stretch. But Jake, I like the idea, so
They're justifying it in their own heads. They don't realize it's a dream.
here it is.
until
Right,
the
no,
end.
here it is,
Yeah.
Jake. They are
Yeah.
infected with some kind of neurotoxin, and they
Yes.
are so
Yes.
they're in a physical place, but they're imagining everything around them. They're actually having a really bad trip. That's what it is.
They're in the Mushroom Kingdom the whole time. They are.
They're like just outside Peach's castle. They're outside the front door. Oh man.
Yoshi walks up. He's like, Mario, stop!
Oh.
Man, yeah.
Super Mario asks, "Who are you guys most excited to play as?" I mean, me. I'm a Mario boy. Always Mario. How about you, Jake?
Yoshi, easily Yoshi. If I can play this whole game as Yoshi, I will. I will 100% day zero play through this whole thing. Yeah, I just feel like it's been so long since I've had like a proper Yoshi platformer game, and that's like where he's not like fuzzy. So if I can just like be Yoshi and pretend that this is like Yoshi's Island, wonder, I will literally sell myself on that and have a great time. Yeah.
I'm right there with you with Yoshi, but otherwise
Yeah.
for me it's Daisy.
I
Like
do
finally
as well.
getting Daisy playable and like a big 2D Mario game, that's so exciting.
It's a big deal. Yeah, it actually is. And this is it's almost easy to forget that this is the first proper 2D Mario we've had on Switch. That's not a port or a maker. So yeah, that actually does, I think, even more suggest that Daisy has a major, like, Nintendo's treating her as a major character now, and it's just fun to see what they're doing, how they're twisting Mario in this fun way, which actually is evocative. We mentioned it earlier, a little evocative of Mario Odyssey, which itself was weird in its own ways, and I dug that. It felt different. We got a super chat from Nintendo Gamer FR. It's saying, "I hope there's a painting level like in Mario Brothers U."
Oh,
Lock it in.
that's nice.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone else said
Lock
that
it
too. Maybe it was them without super chat. So sorry if I didn't mention it earlier. But yeah, I agree. That level is so distinct because it's the one that stood out, and the fact that there weren't any more levels like that was a crime. So I hope that this game has something like that. I mean, we're already seeing stages that are, if not that exact idea, like similar enough in essence, that I still hope we get like that proper painting like aesthetic. Would be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like the main game's aesthetic is already a little bit inspired from that. I almost wonder if that was like internally a point of discussion of trying to like be a little bit more like that level. And yeah, I think this game really has given itself license, and I really hope we see this in the direct. I think this game has given itself license to do things that are incongruous to the rest of the game. I think you can have a level that's like, this, everybody's gonna be able to refer to this by like 3 words and know exactly what you're talking about. Whereas like typically in 2D Mario games, I feel like we're going, that one desert level. And you're like, right.
Yep.
That one desert level. And and it doesn't work that way. So I hope there is more of like a like a focus with like the style and the choices in this game. And I feel like we've already seen that from the trailer, honestly. So I'm pretty confident in that. Yeah.
And we'll just see more of that, hopefully,
Mhm.
in the direct.
The level
You know,
where this thing happens, like that's cool. That's good stuff. Yeah.
As you're saying this, Jake, this isn't about the
Mhm.
direct specifically, but just about Mario Wonder and like the influence it will have. I cannot wait for when this becomes like the baseline for inspiration for the spin-off games. Where instead of pulling everything from New Super Mario Bros., they pull things from Wonder.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Because they always do that, and I that makes me excited for what would come after this game in the
Oh,
spin-offs.
see, I'm seeing this in such a way where like I imagine. See, this is the monkey's paw. I imagine like Mario and his buddies sitting under the tree. Remember this, playing their Switches, and they look like normal. You know what I mean? And then like in the dream world, they look how they do in this game. And listen, they look normal on the box art.
Yeah, wow, that's true. But we also see Elva Mario alongside them as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. So
marketing art style versus in-game art style has always been different. Look at even like older eras where they're limited by the technology or the art style of the games themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
We had to then.
Yeah, but I imagine
like Mario Kart. Will Mario look different
in like the next Mario Kart? Or
yeah, will he look
general?
different? Well, in the next Mario Kart game, will we go, oh man, my man is clearly a different Mario?
He probably won't.
But,
If he did, that'd be cool.
So.
He probably won't, though.
That'd be cool,
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
New OJ says, let's not forget Birdo was the first Dream World boss in Mario Bros. 2. She was also introduced with Shy Guys. What are the chances of Birdo and Shy Guys appearing in Mario Wonder? Not great, because neither of them appear in the mainline games, really, at all anymore, but I would love for that to be not the case anymore, because I love Shy Guys especially, and even having Birdo back would be nice too. So
it would be great to have them.
I think there's a chance.
I also don't quite see it happening.
I think there's a chance. I think that like maybe we're underselling it, but like when you asked us like who are we gonna play as, like Tris and I were both excited to answer that question, and chat was excited about that too. And I continue to think that this is going to be a big selling point for this game. The fact that you can play as all these characters in there. So I don't know. Like maybe they come out in 2 days and they're like, here's all these other characters you can be, Birdo and Monty Mole.
You know, that's actually a great point, because something we're not fully considering, Jake, is on the one hand it feels like we already know what this game is. Like we've seen the trailer, we can see how it fits within the template that 2D Mario has been. On the other hand, Nintendo does have this tradition of having the second trailers like just blow away everything that we thought we knew about a game, whether it's like just showing way more or tweaking it or changing, having a mechanic that really we didn't envision, and that makes me wonder, like maybe could that be the case here too? Maybe it's just not a question of showing more levels and more power-ups. Maybe there is another portion to it that we can't even envision at this point.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, so it's
so.
It's about trying to like identify what like their selling point is for the game that's beyond what was in that first initial reveal. And I do think there is something. Because this is like where you do your pre-orders push, you know? This is that time. So yeah, so I'm excited to see what it is, because I really do believe that it's more than like, hey, here are new levels, new power-ups. See ya. I do think it's more than that, yeah.
Especially considering almost sequence to sequence in the previous trailer, like it was showing off something new constantly. Yeah, there's probably a fair amount. There's probably some big things in there that they haven't shown off yet. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. Any final thoughts, everyone, on what we're expecting on Thursday?
I will pop off if I see Yoshi transform into any kind of animal. That would
frog.
Bring me so much joy.
A frog would be perfect. It keeps a long tongue. It can jump high, and it's got the connection of Yoshi going through a frog's digestive system in Yoshi's Island.
Oh yeah.
Right?
It was
you're inside a frog, so why not become a frog? Become what you were eaten by, as they say.
Yeah, it's just one of the great joys of that first trailer was going frame by frame, watching Mario turn into the elephant.
That's an amazing animation.
If I can get that again with Luigi and Yoshi and just like do that, like great joys will be had. So yeah, that's my hope.
I'm very excited. That's me. Yeah. I'm just very much looking forward to getting this news this week. I think I mean, this game's less than 2 months out. Yep. It's wild.
Exactly. We don't need a demo. We don't need one. It's less than 2 months out. Play Mortal Kombat.
There you go. That's that very similar game. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, come on.
Family friendly. Stendo Switch asked one final question I want to end on.
Okay.
What are you guys worried about? What are you guys' worries with Mario Wonder? Is there anything that concerns you or you're afraid of about this game?
Baseline, I feel like it's just good. Like I don't, you know what I mean? It's like the worry is that it's okay. Obviously, there's no like real worry, but worry in the spirit of this question, I think, is Nintendo not going big or bold enough. I think it would just be disheartening for me as a human being, just because I feel like they have so much potential. And right now, in this moment, it feels like Mario Wonder is a turning point. It feels like a new era. And if I look at this game in 2 days and I feel like what they are excited to show me is these levels are different, but they're still the jungle, the desert, the ice world, the this, the that, the Bowser's castle, whatever. The powers are different, but it's like modifying the way you jump, modify the way that you can attack. Like if baseline, I feel like that's still an enjoyable video game in the same way that like the new Super Mario Brothers games, you don't see people getting like super passionate for them all the time, but I think our baseline good games, if that is what the mark that we're trying to hit, if we're not like aiming for something higher, if I don't get a sense of ambition from the presentation in 2 days, I will personally be disappointed. I want the industry to take note. I want to go, this is Nintendo doing a 2D platformer, right, and that matters.
It should be a big deal.
Yeah, and that matters. So I hope they still have it. I hope they still got it. So that's.
In terms of like worries, I think the only thing I have is I just hope it's a lengthy game like many of the other more recent Mario games. Like 3D World actually has a lot of levels. Like even New Super Mario Bros. U with all of its content has a lot of levels. I just hope it feels like there is a lot here. Because if it was like 5 worlds and it's only like 40 levels, I mean that would be disappointing.
8 worlds, plus a bonus world, and then
exactly. Like I said, it's like Jake said, it's more so a worry in the spirit of the question rather than something I'm actually sitting here concerned about. But
I loved 3D World, by the way, how they handled that, like those like post game those like crazy levels and shit. Like I'm a 3D World stan. I love that. So if there's anything like similar to that here, like I'd be all about that. That'd be so cool.
I mean, that could be what the Wonder Seeds are used for. Maybe that's your.
Oh, true.
Totally. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sure there'll be something along those lines. My main worry is just that for however awesome it looks now, is that when you actually play it, it still feels kind of boring. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it doesn't. For as different as it is, there are still shades of New Super Mario Brothers in there, and my concern is that they're going to surface while I'm playing it, and that's what. No matter, I swear to God, it does not matter how much attention I try to give New Super Mario Brothers. My mind just turns itself off. Like I can play through 5 worlds and have no memory of what just transpired. It's kind of like when you drive home on a route you already know, and you suddenly are aware that you're 5 miles away, or like you just drove 5 miles, you don't know how you got there. It's like, what? I wasn't paying attention at all, even though you somehow were. And I don't think that's the case just because of how varied and different everything seems to be feeling. That's just my worry, though. Like, just mechanically, it could be dull, and that might make it not that fun to play. Again, I'm not seriously concerned about that, but it is just my worry. I've been burned too many times by the latest Marios, and it's been a long time since they've had a truly good 2D Mario, so I'm really excited.
I mean, think about like every wave of DLC of Mario Kart we get. How it's like I was listening to this is kind of a different thing, but like the YouTuber Maximilian dude who talks about fighting games, and it's like before a fighting game comes out, everybody's like always like hype on the graphics because you can do crazy graphic things in fighting games just because of the limitations of a console, whatever. And he always says, he goes, I see the graphics for 1 day. And then the rest of my time with the fighting game, you don't even like, you're not taking that information in. It's And I totally feel that with something like a Mario Kart where I've like already digested it in my brain and I don't like even take in new stuff anymore, even when I've never played the level anymore. So I hear you. If like in the hand, it feels so familiar and like the levels themselves don't try to interrupt your like mental state and flow with something, then I totally get where that can happen, where it's just like you play 5 levels and you go, all right, that was a good play session, you put the game down and it didn't like stir anything. I get that.
I definitely get what you mean.
So we'll see. Anne loves the graphics though. Speaking of graphics, and
dude, me too.
I'm thinking it looks. It's funny. I have seen there were some reactions at least early on, being like, it looks like another new game. Like, no, have you played the new games?
No,
Like, this
it really
actually looks.
doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, there are similarities, but it looks very distinct at the same time. It's like, it immediately stood out to me. Like, if they had branded this a new Super Mario Brothers game, I would have been like, what are you guys talking about? It isn't. So, all right. I think we're about done here. Anything else, guys?
No,
All
can't
right.
wait.
No,
Excited.
I don't think
Yep,
so.
same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, everyone. Those are our predictions, our hour-long plus predictions. If we with 4 times the length of the actual Nintendo Direct, 5 or 6 times
That's correct.
actually. Yeah, totally. So, everyone, thank you for watching. Of course, stay tuned for more of the Direct. We'll be live streaming it ourselves. I'm sure we'll have tons of coverage afterward as well, including breakdowns, cute details, and all kinds of things. Should be a lot of fun. And that is at, I believe, 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern on Thursday. Yep. So a little bit early for me, less so for Jake and Tris. I'm jealous of you two. And
Yeah.
should be a lot of fun. So can't wait. Everyone will see you there. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.